Good morning and welcome to Quest Today on Quest Television and Quest 93.1 FM. Today is the 16th day in the month of January in the year 2024. A lovely Tuesday morning here in the studios and another lovely morning for us to look into the headlines that make the rounds. Yes, my name still remains Orikemi Mariam and I welcome you to the newspaper review here on Quest. Making a return back to the studios this morning are 5 newspapers. We have the Guardian newspaper, the Nation newspaper, the Punch made a return as well as the Daily Trust and the Nigerian Tribune. But yes, it is a lovely morning, and here on the newspaper review, I am never alone. With me this morning in the studios is you already know who, for those who have been, as regular viewers and listeners. But for those who are just joining us, it is the unordained Bishop, Comrade Efe Odomo, here to enlighten us on the headlines that make the rounds. Good morning and welcome, sir.
Yeah, I think on Saturday they are fixing the date of the ordination of my bishop.
Comrade, we've been fixing this ordination date since...
Well, it's not the only thing they said. They've not even told me the date they will see to fix that date.
All right. Well, let's make it a date and then go straight to the papers. And this morning, the first paper for review will be the Punch. On the front page of the Punch newspaper, the major headline reads, "Abduction epidemic spreads nationwide." Yes, the writer that says kidnappers move from expressways to Lagos, Ogun and Abuja city centers. Abductors kill 2 young victims and demand 700 million naira ransom for 9 others. Well, comrade, I can see the shock on your face. But you can read more on this on page 2, 3, 4, 5 and even continue that story on page 7 of the Punch. Moving above the masthead, we have OPS blames struggling Naira for highest inflation in 21 years. You can read more details on that on page 21. 14 states spend 21 billion Naira on foreign trips despite zero FDI. Well, more details on that on page 22. And EFCC to arraign ex-minister over unpaid 3.6 billion Naira loan. Well, more details on that on page 29. Yes. Moving down below, someone who promises more projects with 2 trillion naira budget. More details on that on page 6. And also 69 protesters killed and 189 journalists arrested under Buhari, who is giving us this report. Well, you can get more details on that on page 30 of the Punch. And page 5 of the Punch newspaper, we always know it's a puncher. This is a statement coming from, well, you have to read the papers to know who, but it says, kidnapping, wicked fiddles with Rivers politics while Abuja burns. Yes, quite a bold statement there.
Beautiful headline.
Yeah. Comrade, I already know your reaction to that. But for the picture of the day, we can see President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as he leads the Forces Remembrance Day celebration. Yes, the headline there says President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the National Assembly and the governors remember fallen soldiers. Yes, more details on that on page 8. And that's much we can take on the front page of the Punch newspaper. The next paper for review is The Guardian. On the front page of The Guardian newspaper this morning, the major headline reads, 2024 oil production, federal government strained to meet 650 million barrels target over crude-backed loans. You can get more details on that on page 6 of The Guardian. But moving on, we have 7 richest Africans, wealthier than poorest half of continent's population. It's making it to page 3. Still on page 3, NNPCL shops for net worth investors to manage Port Harcourt refinery. Yes, comrade, I'm sure you like to invest in that. Yes, go forth and invest. But moving on from that, we have federal government 35,000 naira wage award remains till new minimum wage, NLC declares. You can get more details on that on page 4. And also Nigeria's inflation ends 2023 at 28.9% as naira anxiety worsens outlook. More details on that on page 6. Minister orders discos to supply transformers to communities. It's a headline there on the front page of The Guardian. But added to that, we have another headline there sharing the same page. It says incessant kidnappings unsettle Abuja residents. Do well to read both stories on page 30. And the final headline this morning on the front page of The Guardian newspaper, it says reconsider INEC budget for accountability and democracy. You can read more on that on page 12. And that's much we can take on the front page of The Guardian. The next paper for review is the Daily Trust. Still on the papers we can trust this morning, the major headline reads, 438 million naira contract. Interior Minister faces CCB today. Yes, where did all that money go? It's making it to the front page of the Daily Trust this morning. You can read all of that on page 4. And also a headline there on the front page comment to say, save Nigerians from kidnappers. It's a cry up there on the front page, but you can continue to read on that on page 13 of the Daily Trust. 5 bodies recovered and scores missing as boat carrying 100 capsizes in Niger. Yes, more details on that on page 6. Residents flee as bandits attack military camp in Katsina. Wow, the boldness. Well, you can read all of that on page 7. And well, that's what you can take on the front page of the Daily Trust. The next paper for review is The Nation. On the front page of The Nation newspaper this morning, it reads, Tinubu, prosperity soon after subsidy removal pains. The writer there says President, Obasanjo, governors, senators, honor Uzodinma at second inauguration. You can read more details on that on page 3 after reading it on the front page. And also we have, moving above the masthead, we have terrorists and bandits on rampage. Mansour Al-Qadriya must pay 60 million to save daughters. DSS takes over NPC headquarters over abduction of staff kids. And in Abuja, 10 kidnappers kill 3 and raise ransom to 700 million naira. First Lady urges security agencies to up their game. Yes, read more details on that on page 4. Keeping it real on the front page of The Nation newspaper, President and leaders loud ex-APC chair Akonde at 85. And MPS puts inflation rate at 28.92%. Both details, both stories you can read on page 9 of The Nation newspaper. CCB invites Interior Minister, is making it to page 3. And my friend Issa Gassal, Shettima writes on X-Aid, is making it to page 35. NNPCL opens bid to privatize Port Harcourt refinery. It's making it on the front page of The Nation as well, but you can read more on that on page 6. And also, Sanwo-Olu signs record 2.267 trillion naira 2024 estimates. You want to read more on that, go to page 6. And the final headline on the front page of The Nation newspaper, hoodlums seize body at Eket suit. It's making it to page 6. But that's much we can take on the front page of The Nation newspaper. Comrade, I wonder what they want to do with that body.
They don't bury their members anyhow. There is a protocol and procedure to follow. And that's what they are doing.
All right. Well, the final paper for review this morning is the Nigerian Tribune. On the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, the major headline reads, Adelabu unfolds roadmap for power sector, says federal government spent 700 billion naira on electricity subsidy in 2023. The writer there says state governments to get power of attorney in disco's operation, he says, and also estimated billing to end this year. Well, I'm sure a lot of people are interested in that. Do well to read on that story on page 7. Moving above the leading story, Nigeria's inflation rate hit 28.92% in December, says MBS. Also, EFCC arrests ex-minister Charles Ugu and one other for alleged 3.6 billion naira loan fraud. That story you can get on page 28. Over 50 aspirants jostle for Edo Guba ticket. It's making it to page 16. And also, Rivers Assembly invites 9 commissioners who resigned for screening. Comrade, I hope your name is among these people.
No, I'm not aware that something like that happened.
We'll get more details on that on page 15. Nigeria going through epidemic of kidnapping, says the Amnesty International. You can read more details on that on page 17 and page 30. And also, Osun government raises concerns over fake federal agents harassing state agents. Quite an interesting one there. More details on that on page 17. The final headline on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, it says a list of new Oyo State Park Management State Executives on page 18 and page 24. And at this point, we've taken all the headlines on the front pages of all the dailies I mentioned earlier. This morning, we took the Guardian newspaper, the Punch newspaper, the Nation newspaper, the Daily Trust, as well as the Nigerian Tribune. And well, it is now time for you to be able to call into the show and have your say regarding the headlines that made the rounds. Yes, the numbers are still the same, 081 88 888 931 and 08022 931 931. Just don't forget to turn down the volume of your radio set so we don't have any sort of miscommunication. And also state your name and your location before you have your say. With that being said, well, let's take this calls. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, man.
Good morning.
From
yes, Mr. Henry, welcome on board. Please have your say.
Abduction epidemic spread nationwide. Kidnapping, wicked video with Rivers police while Abuja burns. Now, the truth is that this area of insecurity, we are really taking it seriously. The officer said Tinubu said that going to look at the forest guide. What is that to help in social aspect? Yes, all this another should be looked into. And again, they should not forget the idea of state policing because they should that this is getting out of hand. And this no longer terrorism again, kidnapping again. So they should really look at the area of state policing. Then again, NPCL shop for net investors to manage Port Harcourt refineries. Open bid for private privatized Port Harcourt refineries. It's sure that this government, people are already telling them what to do, but they don't want to do it then. The other time, the Obasanjo government privatized the Port Harcourt to Dangote. Yadra came, returning for him, not today, he's not forget. So they should really look at this area and see how they can privatize all this moribund industry are not functioning very well. Then finally, Tinubu, prosperity soon after pains of subsidy removal, yes. Yes, that is the prospects. We pray that Nigeria will have prosperity, but you know, people are dying in this country. We are facing hardship. And if we did that, having a plan of time to increase the spare price, please, they should save this country before it explodes. Have a good day, man.
All right, have a good day as well, Mr. Henry. But yes, you can still call into the show, and have your say. The numbers are still 081 88 888 931. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. Welcome. Your name and your location.
Thank you. This is Samuel Yembra calling from Efuru.
All right.
I'm interested in this NNPCL opens bid for privatization Port Harcourt refinery. It is illegal and unconstitutional. Paragraph 9, part 2 of the 10th schedule of the Constitution says public enterprises should be given to Nigerians on the basis of federal crimes and should be privatized to them. And it's only by doctrine of necessity we can bring in core investors so that these enterprises can thrive. So, but the first step is to take it to the stock exchange for privatization to all the 36 states of the country, of the federation. And I'm calling on all stakeholders, including Serap and others, to ensure that this illegality does not take place because they don't want to do anything with the money. This is the only way we can use to raise the economy back for Nigeria to thrive. We cannot just fritter it away. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for calling into the show. Yes, we're still keeping it real here on the newspaper review on Quest today. We're taking calls so we can have your opinions on the headlines that made the rounds. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, welcome. Your name and your location, please.
My name is John Paul and I'm calling from Mazet School Gate.
All right, welcome on board. Please have your say.
Please save Nigeria from kidnapping is another headline. The thing is that when is this going to stop? The rate at which kidnapping is going on is becoming too much. We are begging on Nigeria government. For most of the news, they know they carry somebody is getting married, this person is doing introduction, things like that, or partying. It's only kidnapping, accidents. When is all this is going to end? We are begging our government to come and help us. May God help Nigeria.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, we still have time to take one more phone call, or, before we move over to Comrade to enlighten us, and then come back to take more calls. Hello, good morning. Good morning. All right, let's put a hold on the calls for now. Okay, seems as though we have a caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, welcome. Your name and your location, please.
I'm Mr. Paulino Savana.
Okay, you're calling from where?
From Sapele.
From Sapele. All right, welcome on board. Please have your say.
Thank you very much. I want to say something about this news about the House of Assembly in River inviting the resigned commissioner of cleaning. You see, I can't understand who submitted the names to the House of Assembly for state. Is it the House of Assembly members that are supposed to
to invite people for screening, or the government is supposed to send them. So the problem in Rivers State still continues. It's so political. It's just that the governor is not a politician. That is why they are pushing him here and there. And I'm very sorry. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Well, let's put a hold to the calls for now. I'm moving over to Comrade to enlighten us. Well, Comrade. Yes. Yes. Well, you've heard what the people have been saying, regarding the headlines that made the rounds. But most people talked about, the whole saga concerning the kidnapping issues, and then next to that was the open bid for the Port Harcourt refinery. So let's focus on that for now. What's your take on this issue of kidnapping? It seems as though these kidnappers are now very bold. I mean, demanding 700 million naira after killing a number of people and then terrorizing them. What's your take on this? What is giving them this audacity to be able to, be this bold, despite the fact that we have security forces in the nation?
Look, if I may refer to the statement made by the former head of state, the dark-goggled late general, Sani Abacha, he said when this type of crisis lasts more than 24 hours, the government of the day is involved. And we cannot actually say that the government is not aware. How can this thing be going on in a country that has constitution, in a country that has legally elected government, in a country that has legally constituted government? Kidnappers are overrunning even the military, and you are seated smiling. If I could remember and all recall when Jonathan was in power, and they were losing states to parties through courts, Obasanjo just said something and said, look, you sit down and you are laughing. Everything is going away. Now today people were saying that, oh, Jonathan was this, he was weak, he was that, he was a weakling. You brought in an iron-fisted person to rule the country. Things became worse. How can you tell me that in the city of Abuja, where the government is seated, somebody will be so bold enough to go into the street and start kidnapping people, even attacking the presidential convoy, attacking residents, adopting people, and you are coming out to say you need 700 million naira to release those people? Then somebody will come up and say, I am speaking on behalf of the bandits. The bandits came from nowhere to the palace of an emir. They were given chieftaincy titles. The government never saw anyone to be arrested. But when somebody goes along the road, takes somebody's pocket or pig's pocket, you give the person 21 years jail and say the judiciary is working. What is actually wrong with us? If they want to tell us that kidnapping is a legalized business, then let everybody know, and let everybody know how to protect themselves. One of the governors either last month or early this month called for self-protection. People cried out, why must it be? Why do you not think that I should not be walking along the street of Nigeria, somebody will come and remove my head and I go back home with my neck? It's not just possible. We are playing with this thing with kid gloves. We don't even want to do anything about that. Maybe simply because somebody at the top there is using it as a means of making things meet. Like in Lagos. Lagos does not have crude oil. But they will tell you their rent and their landed properties, that is their oil. Delta State, the Niger Delta region boasts of oil. Maybe the kidnappers are also using the kidnapping income to be their own oil. The government should do something before every one of us becomes victims.
All right. Well, Secretary, I would have asked you what you would have suggested to the government to do, but...
Now, if you want me to suggest something to the government to do, look, the information technology at the disposal of the government, no individual can possess it. You have the NIM. What is the purpose of the NIM? Your SIM and all these things. They need to make calls with phones. Can they trace this thing? Can they use drone to track where these people are? So it is just because they don't want to do it. If they want to do it, it is very simple. They will sit down in one place. They will get information of everybody as time goes on. Communication can be tracked. As Nigerians track the communication system of the kidnappers, how is it that they are able to deliver ransom to them? Where are they delivering that ransom? That money they are moving. Let us even assume out of the 700 million they come down to 100 million. They will move 100 million to go and give to somebody, and the government will not be able to track that money. Well, something is wrong in Nigeria. We should not be disciplining ourselves, and nobody is a kid anymore.
Well, Comrade, you have spoken well, but quickly before we round things here up here on the newspaper review, do you support the privatization of the Port Harcourt refinery?
Well, that is something we can do. Whether you shout from nothing tomorrow, nothing can happen. And I don't think that the government officials have also managed our public utilities well. So if they want to privatize it, so be it. Look at our government parastatals. Which of them is doing well? So if they say they want to privatize, let them go ahead. But I think it's a plot for them to also remove it from the public hands and put it into their own private hands. Because most moribund assets of the federal government that are in the hands of the private ones. They are doing well with them, and they are making they are living from it. So it's a deliberate attempt to cripple the public sector to enrich their own private sector.
Well, Comrade, you have spoken well today, and unfortunately we don't have time to take more calls on the show. It's quite sad, but yes, we have to log out of this session. Comrade, thank you very much for coming on air with me today.
And let's pray that one day everybody will not be in your house and you are kidnapped inside your house. Not that taken out of your house, you are kidnapped inside your own house. You remain in your house and you are under kidnap.
Well, Comrade, it is what it is. Thank you very much for coming on air today. And like I said, I do look forward to having you tomorrow. Hopefully you get ordained before that. All right, thank you everyone for keeping it real here on the Newspaper Review. Thank you very much for calling into the show. We appreciate your input. Do not forget, the Newspaper Review is sponsored by the Vanguard newspaper here on Quest, but yes, it is still open to more sponsorship. From myself and from Comrade Ifyo Domo and from the crew, bye for now.